Imagine you're enjoying a romantic hot air balloon ride over the mountains, thousands of feet in the air. But suddenly, this beautiful journey turns into a nightmare you never saw coming. Today, we're diving into a thriller that will make you think twice before stepping into a hot air balloon. This is Turbulence 2025. The film opens with a lavish corporate party. Jack, a young CEO who just took over his family's company, is celebrating a controversial decision, firing all senior employees and replacing them with younger workers. In the middle of the celebration, a senior employee named Hans approaches Jack. His face is pale, his hands trembling. Hans has dedicated decades to this company, even building it from the ground up alongside Jack's father. With a shaky voice, Hans begs Jack to reconsider. He's even willing to take a pay cut, anything to keep his job.
We're gonna try, Kevin.
But Jack, he refuses coldly. His decision is final. There's no room for negotiation. And then, something horrifying happens. Hans pulls a gun from his jacket. Everyone screams in panic. Jack tries to calm him down, promising they'll talk about this rationally. But it's too late. Hans, feeling betrayed after years of loyalty, points the gun at himself and pulls the trigger. The gunshot changes everything. Jack stands frozen, his hands shaking violently. He immediately calls his wife, Emmy, his voice choked with emotion. He tells her what just happened, how his decision pushed Hans over the edge. Emmy tries to comfort her husband and promises to fly to Italy immediately to be with him. That night, Jack sits alone at the hotel bar, drowning in guilt. Drink after drink, he tries to forget the haunting image of Hans. A beautiful woman named Julia approaches him. She's friendly, attractive, and seems to understand what Jack is going through. They talk, and Jack tells her about his plans to heal with his wife by taking a hot air balloon ride over the famous Dolomite Mountains. Julia sounds impressed. "Your wife is very lucky," she says with a seductive smile. And in his drunken, vulnerable state, Jack makes the biggest mistake of his life. The next morning, as Jack picks up Emmy from the airport, his phone buzzes. A message from Julia. Transfer 500,000 euros within 24 hours, or the video of their affair will be sent to everyone, especially his wife. Jack turns pale. Emmy asks what's wrong, but Jack lies, saying it's just a business matter. The next day, they arrive at the hot air balloon launch site. An experienced pilot named Harry warmly greets them, carefully explaining all safety procedures. "Hot air balloons are very safe," Harry says with a smile. "The weather is perfect today, nothing to worry about." But then the third passenger arrives, and Jack's world collapses. It's Julia. She climbs into the balloon basket with a mysterious smile, as if everything had been planned. Jack panics, trying to convince Emmy to cancel the trip, saying he has a bad feeling. But Harry assures them everything will be fine, and the balloon begins to rise, carrying them thousands of feet above the spectacular mountains.
No?
At altitude, the view is breathtaking. Emmy is mesmerized, taking photos for her social media. Harry opens a bottle of champagne to celebrate this special moment. But Julia starts playing games. She mentions meeting Jack at the bar the other day. Emmy is confused. Jack tries to deny it, saying Julia has the wrong person. The tension builds, and then Julia drops the real bomb. She reveals everything about that night at the bar, about what happened afterward, even about Emmy's trauma after the miscarriage, which Jack disclosed while they were in the hotel room. Emmy goes silent. Only her closest family knew about the miscarriage. How could Julia know? A fierce argument erupts. In the chaos, Julia suddenly grabs a knife from Harry's hand and threatens their pilot. "Go higher," she screams. Harry tries to refuse, saying they're already at a dangerous altitude, but Julia doesn't care. She wants them all to suffer. In her panicked movements, Julia accidentally brushes against the balloon's burner. Fire licks her arm and she screams in pain. In reflex, she releases a larger flame that burns the vent rope, their only way to descend. Harry immediately climbs to reach the rope, but Julia, in her panic and pain, pushes Harry. Their pilot falls thousands of feet to the rocks below. They're now alone. 3 people in a balloon that keeps rising. No pilot, no way down. And then the worst happens. They run out of oxygen. One by one, they start passing out at 12,000 feet. Emmy is the first to regain consciousness. Her head is pounding, but she knows they don't have much time. She searches for rope, anything to pull the vent. With trembling hands and barely enough oxygen, she manages to connect a rope and pull the vent. The balloon starts descending. She wakes Jack. Together, they tie up Julia, who's still semi-conscious. They don't know what else she might do. But their problems have just begun. The balloon is heading toward a rocky cliff. They have to throw out everything heavy to lighten the load. Bags, equipment, even their champagne. Everything goes overboard. But it's not enough. The balloon hits the cliff, tearing the top. Air starts escaping rapidly. As Emmy gives Julia water, Jack becomes angry. He blames Julia for everything. "Because of you, we could all die." But then, Julia reveals a shocking truth. Hans, the man who shot himself at the party, that was her father. Julia is Hans's daughter. This was all a revenge plan. She wanted Jack to feel the same suffering her family experienced, losing everything, even his life. Emmy tries to calm the situation. She promises to help Julia get justice, compensation, whatever she needs. But suddenly, Jack grabs a fire extinguisher and hits Julia until she stops moving. Blood flows from her head. Emmy screams, "What did you do?" Jack claims he did it to protect them, but Emmy sees something different in her husband's eyes. Something cold, calculating, selfish. Their problems get worse. The hole in the balloon grows larger, and in the distance, they see a massive storm approaching. Emmy has a crazy idea. She'll climb outside and patch the tear with rope and fabric. It's dangerous, nearly impossible, but they have no other choice. With Jack holding her safety line, Emmy climbs out of the basket. Wind batters her from all directions. Her hands shake as she ties the fabric over the tear. Seconds feel like hours, but finally she succeeds. The balloon stabilizes, and they make it through the storm.
In the silence after the storm, Emmy notices Jack constantly checking his phone nervously. She suspects something. She finds Julia's phone and opens it. There, she finds all the evidence: threatening messages, money transfers, and most painfully, the video Julia took that night. Emmy sees everything: her husband with another woman, the perfect betrayal. Jack tries to defend himself. He blames Emmy for not giving him attention for a year after the miscarriage. He even mentions other women he cheated with: Aunt Look, Aunt Citra. And then he says something unforgivable. "Before you married me, you were just a poor girl. I made you someone." Something inside Emmy breaks at that moment. With one swift movement, Emmy pushes Jack out of the basket. He's hanging by a rope, screaming for help. "Pull me up! Please, Emmy! I'm your husband!" But Emmy doesn't move. She stares at the man she once loved, the man who betrayed her repeatedly, the man who pushed Hans to suicide. And she makes her decision. She takes Julia's body and drops it below. The body hits Jack, severing his safety rope. Together, Jack and Julia fall thousands of feet to the mountains below.
Lands in an open field. Emmy climbs out, injured but alive. She stares at the balloon, a silent witness to everything that happened. With her last match, she sets the balloon on fire. Flames engulf it, destroying the evidence, ending the nightmare. Emmy walks away, leaving everything behind. She survived, but at a terrible cost. Turbulence 2025 gives us an intense psychological thriller in a confined space. With an IMDb rating of 4.8, it might not be a masterpiece, but it delivers solid tension with unexpected twists. The film reminds us that every action has consequences. Jack's decision to fire Hans, his affair with Julia, his uncontrolled ego, all of it brought him down, literally. And Emmy? She's no longer the traumatized, weak woman. She became a survivor who did whatever it took to stay alive, even if it meant letting go of the husband who betrayed her. So, what's the takeaway? Maybe this: treat others with respect, don't play with fire, and never ever betray someone who loves you, especially if you're both flying thousands of feet in the air. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more exciting movie content. See you in the next video.